God. Yes, He is. God is a good, good God. Don't you know that God is a good God? Don't you know that God is a good, good God? Colin has said, each morning that he wakes, he thank for another day. Everything he is and hope to be only for mercy and grace. He remember when he couldn't see his way, all he knew was gloomy days. But God, he came through right on time, and all Colin can do is say, oh yeah, God is a good God. Yes, he is. God is a good, good God. Good, good. God is a good God. Yes, holy God, you're good. It's smooth sailing with Colin Anthony. Oh yes, Randall positive again, and I say that God is a good God. Yes, He is. God is a good, good God. Don't you know that God is a good God? Don't you know that God is a good, good God? Colin has said, each morning that he wakes, he thank God for another day. Everything he is and hope to be only for mercy and grace. He remember when he couldn't see his way, all he knew was gloomy days. But God, he came through right on time, and all Colin can do is say, oh yeah, God is a good God. Yes, He is. God is a good, good God. Good, good. God is a good God. Yes, holy God, you're good. And then him say, sit back reminiscing about when him back was against the wall. Bills were due, child was sick, pick up the phone, no one to call. And then him dialed the name of Jesus, and a peace came in his soul. What was broken? Now we speak cause Jehovah is on the throne. Colin Anthony says, God is a good God. Yes. Good, good, good God. Lord, you're good. Lord, you're good. You're good, you're good. God, you're good. So good. I say, Jesus, pick me up and turn me around. He planted my feet and that the man I say, Jesus, pick him up, turn him around. Plant. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. He is a miracle working God. Yes, He is. Miracle working God. He is a wonder. He is a miracle. He is a miracle working. Miracle working God. Healing they are. Miracle working God. Victory they are. Wonder. He's a miracle. He's a miracle. The man said, the man said, pick me up, turn me around, plant my feet on higher ground. Say, Jesus, pick me up. It's smooth sailing with Colin Anthony. Oh yes, Randall positive again, and I say that God is a good God. Yes, He is. God is a good, good God. Don't you know that God is a good God? Don't you know that God is a good, good God? Colin has said, each morning that he wakes, he thank God for another day. Everything he is and hope to be only for mercy and grace. He remember when he couldn't see his way, all he knew was gloomy days. But God, he came through right on time, and all Colin can do is say, oh yeah, God is a good God.
Randall positive, God is a good God. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good, good.
Link up, link up, link up, link up, link up.
Holy God, you're good. And then him say, sit back reminiscing about when him back was against the wall. Bills were due, child was sick, pick up the phone, no one to call. And then him dialed the name of Jesus, and a peace came in his soul. What was broken? Now we speak cause Jehovah is on the throne. Colin Anthony says, God is a good God. Yes. Good, good, good God. Lord, you're good. Lord, you're good. You're good, you're good. God, you're good. So good. I say, Jesus, pick me up and turn me around. He planted my feet and that the man I say, Jesus, pick him up, turn him around. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. He is a miracle working God. Yes, He is. Miracle working God. He is a wonder. He is a miracle. He is a miracle working. Miracle working God. Healing the
As we give praise to the Most High God, we give praise to the Lord Jesus Christ. He's our defender, He's our shield, He's our backer. The program is powered by the blood of Jesus Christ every single time. We are an instrument of the Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, and we invite the Holy Spirit to work through yours truly, Colin Anthony Bell, Shaka Fame. Yeah, man. The truth must be told. The truth must be told. No matter how you deal with it. Because the truth is always a message from God. And you see, when you have people who blatantly try to silence the truth, it's not a good thing.
Well, this is Randall Positive, saying you're in tune to Colin Anthony on Styles 96 by Sailing smooth in the Most High in Jesus Christ. Yes. Say we love you, Lord. Words can't explain it. Colin Anthony, one for the music. Music sweet, and that's why we have to say, oh Lord, I'm so in love with you. I cannot explain things you do. You love it first. Yeah, 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 yeah. Colin Anthony say, so in love with you. Oh yes, he's so in love with you. Words can't explain things you do. He loves you. You love him, Lord. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's so in love with you. No greater love than this could never find. While you were on the cross, still Colin Anthony was on your mind. Before the world's foundation, it was your design that you take my place and you take mine. You stick closer than a brother. You are my best friend. Never leave nor forsake. On you we can depend. Your grace and your mercies we can't comprehend. You love me, I love you. Styles FM I play. I say I'm so in love with you. I cannot explain the things you do. You love me first when I didn't have a clue. Colin Anthony saying, Lord, he's so in love with you. Yes, Lord, we are so in love with you. Cannot explain the things you do. You love us first when we didn't have
10 minutes to showtime.
And so,
Hey, remember Sunday,
perspective of merit, show
tomorrow,
you manifest.
pre-Valentine's all its parties at Boston Beach.
Your love is made perfect as
Make it a date if you can reach.
the confidence as your face with some few. Your love goes so far, tongues and pen cannot tell. Touch the highest star, reach the lowest hell. You offered open arms, even when calling a rebel. Your grace and your mercies, they make everything well. Lord, see we are so in love with you. Cannot explain it. Styles FM I play 96.1 every minute, every hour, every day. Colin Anthony smooth sailing and saying that we're so in love with you. Yeah.
But I don't know say once you represent Colin Anthony. Authentic. Sitting here looking back at things. Nobody please the ladies like you do. Playing music in their lives, brightening their days. The ladies have to say they're so amazed. If you could see their eyes, you would really see the loving that they have for you is real. They ask me just to pen the words for you, telling you, you take their breath away, away with the music that you play, Calling you take girls' breath away, away with the music that you play,
It would hurt their brains if they try to explain. The ladies get weak when they listen to Colin before falling asleep. Colin Anthony plays all those lovely tunes today, taking girls' breath away, away.
Colin, you take girls' breath away, yeah,
Away.
with the music that you play, Colin, you take girls' breath away,
Away.
with the music that you play,
What go?
Say,
Boom! You like the corner, the radio and the stage show ends. And anywhere you go, you are the girls, them friend. When calling him a play, ladies can't call Joe themselves, cause him have the master mix will lock down the residence. Wherever him a play, him roll back the hands of time. And when the tune a bust, him a football rewind. The ladies jiggle, watch your girl, them smile. So 1/3 sing the tune
you
one
take
more
girls' breath
time.
away,
Colin Anthony.
with the
Big up
music
yourself,
that
Mr.
you
Breezy.
play, Colin Anthony, take girls' breath away, with the music that you play,
Ha! Authentic. Louis Culture say, Shaka fame, the one you go put enough of them to shame, cause we don't miss when we hear. Hey, well then, never support where the boy them a promote. So them send well heap a butcher now fi try cut me throat. Politics and me no vote, so them
Morning, Karen.
float. Send submarine fi sink the Shaka fame boat.
Early bird get the most worm, you know.
Them a go hang me like a goat. Me tell them take that to bank, take that to court. We taking over import, export and deport. No mention the wharf, much less the airport. Now the whole of them vex through me and so tell them an uncle win uncle. Well, Shaka fame you are no dog neither jankro. Tell them an uncle win uncle. Go tell them say I no Shaka won the Bronco, but still an uncle. Me tell them one go. No, let me one road those wells and dash. Them gone with me chalice and me two calabash. The girls smash and me very stash. Me have no plate to kill them not on clash. So not tell me about the system cause them program crash. Not tell me about dollars, this is more than cash. Not tell me not a rubbish Shaka fame a bun trash. Well this year when you hot up in the this jack atash. The whole of them vex through it and so Shaka fame an uncle, you uncle. Go tell them man no dog dry the jankro. Tell them an uncle win uncle. Go tell them say Shaka fame me no want no Bronco, but still an uncle, you uncle. Me tell them one go ask the one tanko. If I no uncle win uncle. Well Shaka fame a number one up on the island, straight from Westmoreland, straight to Portland. Not talk about Kingston. Him a the Dan Styles FM. Him a fling selection.
We have to go do some editing. Yeah. We have to go do some editing.
Man, shine them light bright, let them see it. See it English. I shall be there. So me realize I'm a Lucifer. Whoa boy, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa boy, so them a come there, but we not run. They come there with them long gone. So them come there, but we not run. This come apart. None of them fight like spark. Make them so wicked and cold. Try kill me and get my money and gold. Not trust them from me, see how them roll. That just sweep over my soul. Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Jaja is coming soon, morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Oh boy, the body fire me not swear them done. Every devil boy get burned. Some deceitful and corrupted slum. Can't stop Stanford Brookstone. Man, sanctified from the womb I become. Pure like the water we run. You can't step on me. Me no shoes to the ground. You better watch for the outcome. Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa boy, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa boy. Yard vibes. CJ, man, shine them light bright. Let me see it. See it English. I shall be there. So me realize I'm a Lucifer. Whoa boy, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa boy, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Whoa boy, see them a come there, but we not run. Them a come there with them long guns. Them a come there, but we not run. Them a come there with them long guns. Have you see up and put the mark on you? We don't never make them walk on you. Fast witness come up and want talk on you. None of them fire can spark on you. These English. Make them so wicked and cold. Try kill me and get my money and gold. Not trust them from me see how them roll. Touch us people over my soul. Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people them from the heathen. Oh boy, the body fire me not swear them done. Every devil boy get burned. Some deceitful and corrupted slum. Can't stop Stanford Brookstone. Man, sanctified from the womb I become. Pure like the water we run. You can't step on me. Me no shoes to the ground. You better watch for the outcome. Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people from the heathen. Whoa boy, Jaja is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Protect his people from the heathen. Whoa boy.
Now you in tune to the champion, this Jack of fame. I we not lame, I we not easy for team. We not change, we are the same. Louis culture say from all along them get tackle them carry the back themselves, them ackle them surround up and down when Shaka fame a chuckle. So we say let's go make it run. Check it, hey. Why yo, Shaka fame you are the winner. Why well Shaka fame is like a puzzle every big and a hard not be crack. A real sound killer from Portland top. Them call we dirty nigga and we trample them flat. A smiling now we face a walk stabbing at the back, but we no bow down low. You must see mad we could not do that. Sound killer from birth. All would the running slow. Shaka fame I go trample them flat. We know when I first. When them say bow down low, you must see mad we could not do that. Foundation from birth. All would the running slow. Shaka fame I go hit the jackpot. We know when I first. Well I say yellow Rastafari in me flex. Yes sir. And then me big up all me true friends next. Heal up all the female sex. Yes. Never leave a sound wife vex. As a man where wear pants and shirt, the duty is to make love to the blouse and skirt. Yes, me we heal now hurt. No respect to me virgin will hurt. But from the woman Shaka fame no divert. It no word for us to this woman. The Shaka fame you never bow down. No, you must say mad gonna do that. Still from birth. All would the running slow. Shaka fame I go jump them flat. We know well I hurt. Where them say
bow down now, you must be mad, we couldn't do that. Foundation from birth, although the running snow, Mr. Fame, I go jump them flat. We know where life hurts. Well, me know it rough, me know it hard. Up in a broad and down in a yard, now every way that you got the sound boys a drop card. Now it's a fraud that the Magnum selectors heading towards. Blessed my Lord, Chaka Fame, the vanguard. Now bow down low, you must be mad, we could not do that.
His name is Gangali Louis Culture. Welcome to Portland Spice TV. Yes, Portland with a spice. You know Portland is always nice, right?
Champion this Chaka Fame. I win a lame, I win a easy for team. We not change, we are the same. Louis Culture say from all along them get tackle them carry the back themselves, them ackle them surround up and down when Chaka Fame a chuckle. So we say let's go make it run. Check it, hey. Why?
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like a tree that is planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. I want to welcome you this morning. I want to give thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ, because had it not been for him, we would have not been here. I can tell you that. And the fact that he loves us and continues to guide us in so many different ways, we just want to thank him for his guidance, thank him for his protection, Almighty God. We just want to thank you this morning for everything that you have been doing for us and all that you continue to do, Almighty God, as we come before you this morning as an instrument of your works. Father God, we just ask that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, Lord Jesus Christ, our strength and our Redeemer.
Can feel the breeze, breezing. Colin Anthony, what them gonna do? Mother Earth a run red. Too much people are dead. Calm down now, what head? Hey, you know it's percent I represent for Colin Anthony. What them gonna do? Whichever players, Colin say calm down your nerves. You a push it and a chuck it like your bad mind. You hit the curb. I said calm down your nerves. You a take people life. A life Colin preserve. Calm down your nerves. And the police, them a plan to come out and shoot you like bird. Calm down your nerves. You murder two already, now your head at you going for the third. You take the money, do the crime, the blame is on you. The whole place tens at the time you come through. You never stop till water reach low. And now you a bleach out in a night Joe. Hey, the police have the place curfew. The warrant where issue out for you overdue. Hey, them lock up your girlfriend so, and just murder one from your crew. Calm down your nerves. You a push it and a chuck it like your bad mind. You hit the curb. I said calm down your nerves. You a take people life. A life Colin and Tony preserve. Calm down your nerves. Got the police, them a plan to come out and shoot you like bird. Calm down your nerves. You murder two already, now your head at you going for the test.
His name is Becenta.
They make the people death, but Colin and Tony make the people blessed. Now the killing.
Morning. What a week we have had. What a week, my peeps. Lot of things in Jamaica. And this morning we're going to be zooming in, touching in on a couple of them. Yeah, man, we welcome each and every one of you joining us constantly. And for those of you who are still on Facebook, I implore you to have the YouTube experience. It is an experience. Technology, gone. Have the YouTube experience. Portland Spice TV at YouTube. Subscribe, share. So, the Road Traffic Act is in place. But my people, this Road Traffic Act is incomplete, as you would have heard me say. Incomplete, the Road Traffic Act that we have running with. Because until you fix the court aspect of it, where justice can be served, because there are human error, and if we go off the notion that human beings are inherently good, then we say that there are human errors that will happen. And there are times when we are, as people, we are wrong and very strong. So with all those in play, you must fix the court system. Morning, Auntie Georgia. You must fix the court system where if a man gets a ticket on the road and he have a different opinion of how the law is interpreted. So I could just go say, everybody good and everybody at work according to their knowledge and what they think is right. The court system must be ready to serve justice. Now, I am not a lawyer, but in the legal fraternity and in the course of justice, there is a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. Morning, Sandra. Gilly, morning, Sylvia. Justice delayed is justice denied. Steve Davis, big up yourself. Arville. What that means, we're using the same traffic business to show you what it means. It means that if you live in Portland in Jamaica, 14 parish in Jamaica, any parish that you get a ticket, that's the only parish you can go to contest that ticket. Right? Now, you can pay the ticket if you don't have a problem with the ticket and you know you're at fault and you say, I'm going to pay the ticket. You can pay it at any tax office in Jamaica before the due date. You get 21 days to pay, and then I think you get another 21 days to a court date. And the latter is where the problem is in Jamaica. Because if you get a $5,000 ticket, I'm going to go extreme. You get a $5,000 ticket in Ocho Rios, Sentan, and you live in Portland. You have to go to Sentan's Bay to defend that ticket. Now, for gas money and lunch money and your day's pay to go to Sentan's Bay, you're already losing, man. If you go down there and lose, it would be a double loss. So you go in there because you're confident and you want justice. Once you go there more than once for that case to be tried, you no longer can get justice. And that is where I am saying we're not looking. That have to fix. Because a policeman will give you a ticket unjustifiably. I can tell you that. Me and the police, they're my friend, and I'm not against the police. But sometimes some policemen don't know the law. Sometimes they're not updating themselves with the law. And therefore, things happen and miss them. And some of us, as citizens, are aware of the laws. You have even lawyers out there who know the law. And a policeman give him a ticket and he will contest it. You must be given a fair chance to get justice. So I'm saying, now nobody talk about it, Nobody talk about the fine and what new law, but nobody not talking about if a ticket is issued to you that you want to contest, you must be able to contest that ticket and get justice. It cannot be that the system is set up for you to contest the ticket, prove your innocence, and it still costs you. It should not. And that cannot be justice. We're going to be talking to Conrad O'Brien, the fireman from News Talk 93 FM this morning again. We're going to be talking about some of those. We're also going to be talking about yes, councils. My brethren are saying want some dry cedar board. So anybody who know anybody we have dry cedar board. And council, we need to talk. Next week we're going to be talking to you about the whole new ruling and this same argument of justice being served in our courts. Yes, so the second topic I was moving on to was the fact that Jamaica is a democratic country. I hear the Prime Minister speaks about it. And yet, an election that is due from 2020 continues to be pushed back at the whims and fancy of those who want to hang on to power. And then you talk about the country's a democracy. Or is it that you want to say, hey, Jamaica, this is a hypocrisy? Because I remember the Prime Minister saying, that him have the 40 seat, him have government, him have most of the council. Why would he want to call an election? I heard the Prime Minister say that. And that is unbecoming of the Prime Minister. Because elections are not called based on that. Elections are called based on representation of the people. And the people at the local level are not being represented. And then I guess that time when he said that, he was being braggadocious. I believe right now he's hiding. Andrew in the garden hiding, hiding, hiding. Andrew in the garden hiding, hiding from Marky G. Andrew, where art thou? Andrew, where art thou? Andrew in the garden hiding, hiding from Marky G. Can you believe it? Whoop, 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 whoop. No. Mm-mm. Andrew. No, sir. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Have a drink some water. Andrew hiding from Marky G. Now, a year ago, or should I go 2 years? 2 years ago? That would have been unheard of. Andrew hiding from Marky G. I believe right now, this Jamaica Labour Party administration afraid of the sound of election like our devil afraid of holy water. Because I said it last week and I'll say it again. Jamaican people don't really vote in government. They vote out governments. And I believe that, well, go on Fitzroy, bless up my brother. Bless up. I believe that the time is ripe for the voting out of our government. And that's why they're not calling no election. So the SSL saga continues. They said the FBI, they are in. And we are looking with eyes wide open to see what is going to happen. Wow, that's a spike. That's a spike. That looks like a slight edge. So the West Indies female team is playing playing England. So it's the T20 Female World Cup, T20 Women World Cup that is playing right now. West Indies playing England. I think West Indies are 106 for about 106 for 3. West Indies versus England, and we are in the 16th. This is the beginning of the 17th over. Yes, so we have completed 16 overs. The beginning of the 17th over. Yeah, man. So little cricketer go on. So we are telling about everything. SSL. Well, the argument is that the investigation is taking place, so we must cool. I don't agree. It not happen so. Keep your investigation to yourself private and what you investigate. We don't want to know what the investigators are investigating. But I believe that we as media practitioners should keep the issue on the front burner. It's not an issue we should let go. I mean, media has letting go so much, right? Because when you imagine or try to remember the amount of investigation that is taking place right now in Jamaica. Remember, the wrong bill was tabled in the parliament, and we heard that an investigation was going to be done. We hear about an investigation as it relates to the whole Petrojam saga. Well, that is still in the court. We hear about investigation of the man that died in Patrick Bailey's house. And those investigations, some of them are taking years. Years. But when you check out other cases in the court, them try them quick. The Mandeville scandal, the whole argument of money misappropriated in the Mandeville Municipal Corporation, that has been done and dusted. And I said done and dusted because it did not involve a set of people, or they thought it did not involve them. Anything that is involved connected people take forever in this country. Greenie. Is it really true? Is it really true that the FBI is involved? Are they telling us that? Well, we get the information from our government and we have no reason not to believe them. Do we? Do we know? Do we know, really? We have no reason not to believe this government, really? Do we? Well, the government said that they are involved, and they have given us confirmation that they are involved. Yeah, man, may I try to read some of the message. Bless up, Shaka. Keep doing your thing, brother. Voice like yours is needed. Yeah, them try silent it, but the Almighty open doors and ways. Yeah, man, the Almighty open doors and ways. Because him tell you, you know, that everywhere on the planet, the message have to be preached. In every single corner, the message has to be preached. So, I have no fear. I have no fear. So yeah, they say the FBI is involved. Now, as I said, we as journalists, we say Bambi Georgia more than a hide. Yeah, man, Andrew hiding. We have to keep these things on the front burner. Because if we let them go, that is what they want. And they call it another 9-day wonder. So it just goes away. Hallelujah. Just go away like that. That's how they want the thing them to go away. You not see it so. You not see it so.
Comes the thing called when they easy for pet and when they easy for team. Some boy try to say but them lame, them can't test the champion Shaka fame. Let it go. I want them aim. Easy.
We don't pet. We don't powder.
We play that in a lane.
The truth will drop it like a bomb.
Hey. When Shaka fame don't fear. No boy, no we don't fear.
Gangalilu with culture.
Tell them say we no fear. No sound boy, no we don't fear. When Shaka fame you no fear. No
Miss Owell on Facebook
we don't fear.
says Jamaica needs a new government.
We no fear. No sound boy, no we don't fear. Let me tell them.
Why Sylvia nothing on the Dr. Bloomfield case? Nothing. You see, those investigations just go cold. The man turn up a court and missing. And then you hear not more about it. Nobody remembers about it.
Easy, Shaka fame. Now we culture say good music at the game, you know. We play that in a lane. Alright, from Wednesday came. Hey, well Shaka fame don't fear. No boy, no we don't fear. Tell them say we no fear. No sound boy.
At 9:30 we're going to be talking to the fireman Conrad O'Brien.
The fame you no fear. No select the boy. No we don't fear. Tell them say we no fear. No sound boy. No we don't fear. Let me tell them when you put that this station of fame and run off anyway.
Oh, so Jamaica will last what? 2 wickets now?
This is me not
113 for 5.
ring one up later. Done every
2 set.
mute.
Batters leave the crease.
Jobless no guy.
Archer Johnson, good morning.
Everybody just say yes we deal with poor.
Subscribe to the channel.
Prospect if you're this.
Share the channel.
Pop your own and neck. And we
If you're on Facebook, come over to YouTube.
I know.
Enjoy the YouTube experience. It's live TV.
Them say we no fear. No boy, no we don't fear. Let me tell them, no I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Shaka, fear no evil.
What I'll tell you is that the truth has to be revealed.
Time because of wet.
And we know the truth sounds like hate to some people who hate the truth.
I work for and not the devil. Adam come here for eat him, never come here for never out.
It's Portland Spice TV. Yeah, man. One word, PortlandSpice TV. One word, YouTube, we're at. Join us and listen. Because you see this channel, you know, this channel is about to uplift Portland. To tell the positives about this parish. And if you want to call us, the number to call is 804-7072 or 876-804-7072. Yeah, man, and you can call it on WhatsApp and you can call it straight. So, that's how we're there. All right. All right. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about Portland for those of you who don't know. And one of the history about Portland is that the tourism industry in Jamaica started in Port Antonio, capital town Port Antonio. The first tourist to walk off a cruise ship in Jamaica did so in Port Antonio, right here. Yeah, when we used to use the banana boat as the cruise ship. And up to the 70s, early 80s, Portland had the most tourists coming to Jamaica. And one of the things is that we just saw that dwindle away. So we lost quality leadership somewhere along the line. We lost visionary thinking somewhere along the line. And here we are. But Portland, as any one parish in Jamaica, has the most natural attraction. No other parish in Jamaica don't have the amount of attractions that Portland boasts. Natural attraction, God-given. Yeah, man. We have history of the Maroons, Nanny of the Maroons, one of Jamaica's only national heroine, product of Portland by way of Africa. Hallelujah. Yes. So Portland is rich in history, rich in flora and fauna. The Blue and Drancro Mountain, of which Portland holds a large part of, is classified by UNESCO as World Heritage Site. One of the few places around the world boast that site. And we are very, very blessed in that era. I call it a basket of wealth. So when you come to Jamaica next, we invite you to come to Portland and enjoy Portland. Yeah, man. It is the most peaceful parish in Jamaica. We have the less murders in Jamaica, knock on wood. Yes.
It's a thing called when they easy for pet and when they easy for team. Some boy try to test about them lame, them can't test the champion Shaka Fame. Let it go. I want them aim. Easy, easy, easy Shaka Fame. No, we culture say good music at the game, you know. We play that in the lane. Alright, from Wednesday came. Hey, well Shaka Fame don't fear. No boy, no we don't fear. Tell them say we no fear. No son boy, no we don't fear. Well Shaka Fame you no fear. No select the boy, no we don't fear. Tell them say we no fear. No sound boy, no we don't fear. Let me tell them, when you put that this station Shaka Fame and run off. Anyway you reach up, oh gospel jump up off. This him in a jam down and run.
It's the Saturday morning before the All Soul Valentine's Party.
Them youth are welcome.
Pre-Valentine's Party Sunday. Yeah, man, Sunday.
That we make everybody just say yes with you.
Talk about Sunday,
No frost.
February 12th, Boston Beach.
Well, you pop your own and neck.
Donovan Dacre, Senior Daily.
I know we don't feel.
Black a Pearl, DJ Sheppy.
Them say we don't feel.
Only more DJ. Road Code Sound is going to be there.
Fear.
Boston Beach.
So I walk through the valley.
Let me also remind you that Sunday, July 9 is going to be the Boston Jerk Festival inside of Boston. It's going to be a week of events. So introducing to you the Portland Homecoming Week, July 2 to July 9. July 2 to July 9, it's the Portland Homecoming Week. So if you want to come enjoy Portland at its fullest, only for entertainment going to be happening. Saturday the 8th, it's going to be World Food and Culture Fest, where we're going to be inviting different nations that lives in Jamaica to come to the festival and cook up a storm, cook up their native food and give you some cultural performance from their country. So you're going to be having a chance to experience many different countries in one place in one day. That's World Food and Culture Fest, Saturday, July 8th, Boston, Portland. The Jerk Festival is Sunday. So that's 2 days in Boston. There's going to be a raft tour. I think the raft tour is going to be on the Wednesday, where we're going to draft down the Rio Grande from Berrydale, touring all of that. Of course, we're going to be having a cricket festival at Folly Oval, a football festival at Carter Park. So, yes, it's going to be a week of event. Best domino players. There will be a domino tournament at the cricket festival. Yeah, man. That's what it's going to be. The week of July 2 to 9, Portland Homecoming Week. Log on, be a part of it. Tickets will go on sale by the end of this month online. So there's going to be a set of early bird tickets, so you have to check out that. It's all going to be happening right here inside of Portland, my people.
From capital Kingston, Jamaica, from the days of Sir Cox and Dowds, we talk about the original Alton Ellis. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Shaka Fame!
Inside of Reggae Month, the legendary Alton Ellis.
Hey. Look at. You hear that? Get ready. Through Shaka Fame Rock Steady. Yeah. You've got to play the music just like Shaka Fame. You've got to play it every day. It's not a game if you don't know. You got to play
right across the world. Morning, New Jersey.
Play it like
Florida, good morning to you. Morning, Toronto, Gilly Wagwan, brother.
Shaka Fame. Get ready. Look here.
Hey, Fitzroy, I don't know, Tony have the link. Make certain Tony get the link.
Everybody love you. They love you, Shaka. You're the champion sound. Look here. Ever since I hear Shaka, I don't want to hear from no other controller. And ever since I hear Shaka Fame, every other sound them a play some game.
St. Thomas, good morning to you. Morning, my St. Thomas people. One love and welcome to the space.
No.
Welcome to the space, my St. Thomas peeps.
No game. Better get ready.
Saturday morning,
Here, Shaka Fame.
Portland Spice TV, where we talk the truth. Now, the thing I want to talk about yet is the Southern Coastal Highway, Harbour View into Port Antonio. Wow. What a mess. What a mess. Where are the supervisors? And you see, when you're not supervised from day first, you have a problem along the way. You have problems along the way. Because, you see, you have to keep the channel straight and narrow, you know. And some people don't care. It's just about profiling while the people suffers. There's no reason why we shouldn't have proper water supply in Portland. No reason. And you know the next thing I want to say, I see like the contractor working between Drapers and Port Antonio is about to start dig past Folly. I don't think we should not allow them to dig any more road until they restore what they have dug up already. So calling on the powers that be not to allow the contractor to dig any further coming to Port Antonio until they have sought out between Drapers and Chili Lane. They need to sort that out before them start dig go further. No more digging of a go on as it relates to lengthening. Fix up where you dig up already. Finish that, pave off that, and then you come down further. No, man. And I think there's a law against digging up over a certain amount of road at one time, you know. I think there is such a law. But because nobody is supervising what is happening down here, and I'm not talking about the contractors, them supervisor, or NWA supervisor. Me I talk about somebody who is supervising on behalf of the people look out for the people interests, see what is not right, and say, yo, you can't dig up more than 2 mile road at any one time. Dig up 2 mile and fix it. But no supervision, Rasta. So the man them just dig everywhere. Everywhere.
From capital Kingston, Jamaica, from the days of Sir Cox and Dowds, we talk about the original Alton Ellis. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Shaka Fame.
Godfather, yes, Ricky. Hey, look at. You hear that? Get ready. Through Shaka Fame rock steady. Yeah. You've got to play the music just like Shaka Fame. You've got to play it every day. It's not a game if you don't know. You got to play drum and bass, play the rhythm, play it like. And then we'll say, Shaka Fame, get ready. Look here, we Shaka Fame. Everybody love you. They love you, Shaka. You're the champion sound. Look here. Ever since I hear Shaka, I don't want to hear from no other controller. And ever since I hear Shaka Fame, every other sound them a play some game. Shaka Fame, champion sound. Everybody no, Shaka Fame. Hey, it's no game.
The only fame, walking, talking, singing, moving in the entire world. This is Shaka Fame and the world's number one, the man, Alton Ellis.
And it's no game. When you hear Shaka Fame, remember. Oh yeah, Shaka Fame. Look here. Hey. When Shaka Fame play, every sound run away now. Cause they cannot play like Shaka Fame. Oh no. They try to play every day. Now, believe me, Shaka Fame play a tin pan sound, run away now. They try to play like
Morning, New Jersey.
every day. Although they try, they cannot play.
Still waiting on a link from Conrad O'Brien.
Listen to me while I say to you, Shaka Fame.
Don Scarborough.
Is a champion name, Shaka Fame. Hey, look at, hey. Play the drum and bass, play the drum and bass, play it till them feel it. Play the drum and bass, play the drum and bass, play it till them feel it. Shaka Fame, play every day. No other sound can play this way. Drum and bass, play the drum and bass, listen to me.
Sounds of Alton Ellis.
Play drum and bass, the only way.
Man said play the drum and bass.
Shaka Fame, got the drum and bass, got the rhythm sound, got the top. Hey, got to
804-7072. We talk about anything you want to talk about. The program is called Talk to Me. Anything that you want to talk about.
Shaka Fame, play the drum and bass. Look at him. Hey, hear this. There is no sound that can play like Shaka Fame. No, they got no drum, they got no bass.
No, they got no bass.
Believe me. They have to listen to Shaka Fame every day. Yes. Shaka Fame.
St. Thomas, the people are crying out. License in St. Thomas. Going out to the hospital. How can you have that area in that condition for so long? Past the hospital and somebody couldn't say to the contractor, say, look here, you see this vicinity, this is where our premier health facility in the parish lies. So you're going to go so boom and pave this piece of road there, finish this piece of road there in good time. Nobody now think. So where this for? No, man. Somebody must be able to go to the contractor and say, yo, this is the issue. Get some work done in this area so that we can operate in a safe environment. The environment not safe where the Princess Margaret Hospital is in St. Thomas. The dust to pass there, my people, crazy. So we must call on the contractors to pave that area of the road. Get it sorted out forthwith. I don't know that the whole thing in this country, very sloppy. Sloppy. Nobody cares. Nobody showing any sense of forward thinking or forward planning for our people. West Indies 130. This look like 136 for 7. Not going bad at all if you've been following the ladies playing cricket in the West for the West Indies. They've been unable for quite some time to score over 100 runs. And this is their first match in the T20 Female World Cup. They're playing against England. So it looks like they finish at, what is it? Not seen the final score, but it looks like about 136. That I don't think is enough for England. 136. England needs to win. So they finish at 135. That has been better than what the West Indies have been doing for the last couple of matches. I don't know, it look like Conrad having some technical issues when that seems to getting Conrad O'Brien. Let me see if we can find out what is happening with him, because we want to talk to him about the new Road Traffic Act. And I am saying that people are missing the critical part of that act, and if that is not put in, then I believe that we don't have an act worthy of to say we have a new act.
Man. Some son where I talk about them a soldier. Yeah, we know them soldier. Yeah, 30 pieces of silver. Them a talk about them a this and them a that. Watch ya. Let it go make it run. Shall I feel bigger than them gun? Hey, could have bad a Portland, could have bad a Kingston, could have bad a Farina, could have bad a Jam down. Shaka fame I go show them down. Hey, Mr. Shaka fame you been through hills and valley and survive out of the old gangster alley. No gunshot where we skip and dally. When them think we dead back in the juggling we rally. We want them and pop it off. Who are those match where we rip off? How you get your front, try take it off. Come and get the front batch rip off. Well, Shaka fame you rip it off. With me Bible and me prayers and me father with the sword. With me blessings and me message, so me step it out the road. Destination leads to Zion, so the code. No can't stop we now, not even bad word. I'm selected and elected up on the hunting board. He that sound why them a stop it, them a Satan toad. Don't play the in a me box like a gun overload, ready for kill. The wolf them in a the sheep clothes and pop it off. How you get your front, try pick it off. Come on, get the front, but rip off. Yeah. Well, I know yesterday, not today, Shaka await. You know how long the fame stand up at the gate. You know how much time them pass me with the plate. Now me grab on for a slice, a idiot, and well, no. Well, sure, them say Shaka fame great, 2 things. So, some son where yeah, what have 30 pieces of silver. Them a talk about them a this and them a that. Watch ya. Let it go make it run. Shall I feel bigger than them gun? Hey, could have bad a Portland, could have bad a Kingston, could have bad a Farina, could have bad a Jam down. Shaka fame I go show them down. Hey, Mr. Shaka fame you been through hills and valley and survive out of the old gangster alley. No gunshot dolly. When them think we dead back in the juggling, we rally. We want them and pop it off. Well, the spot where we rip off. How you get your front stripe, take it off. Come and get the front batch rip off. Well, shut up, fame, you rip it off. With me Bible and me prayers and me father with the blessings and me message, so me step it out the road. Destination leads to Zion, so me must follow the code. Not no can't stop we now, not even bad word. I'm selected and elected up on the hunting board. Idiot sound, why them have to stop it? Them a Satan toad. Don't play the inna me acts like a gun. August spot where we rip off. How you get your front stripe, take it off. Come and get the front batch rip off. Youngster, get this straight. Well, I know yesterday, not today, shatter a wait. You know how long the fame stand up at the gate. You know how much time them pass me with the plate. Now me grab on for a slice, a headache. Halfway move mountain, now with me feet. Halfway show them, say shatter fame great. Two things can never be friend of one plate. But tell them forget this straight, me we pop it off. Bogus patch when me rip off. How you get your front stripe, take it off. Come and get the front patch rip off. Hey, shut the fame, you rip it off. Why them see we and not know we and one judge we size. Jah bless we, Jah grow we, so them in for your surprise.
Yeah, lion, you Zion. What are you doing? I'm on a hook, you know. I'm on a go boss, you know. Right now, with the moonlight. With the wild. Right on.
When Colin play, he makes me just wanna stay. He's got the vibe, keeps me feeling oh so high. Wanna be his warrior, break down every barrier with music as my weapon.
Way now, strictly rubber dubs, fence music play. Babylon me on the corner and go call the police. Tunisia chill with Teflon, cause Babylon a the least. They no want me have no money, but me pocket up beast. If you don't like chronic, beg you drop asleep. No for
Just sorting out some technical difficulty to get the guests online, yeah?
no fear, no phone, or no threat by night. Plus, simplicity me use to survive on a night. Me a hype, sure. No, no can do me done. Me no tell no can do me because I die. Oh, no bad mind, no dey inside me. No, me no tell me can do me done. Me no tell me no can do me done because I die. Oh, no bad mind, no dey inside me. No, and no phone never be a man to take my life, but me no fear no phone and no threat by night. Oh, I simplicity me use to survive and me a hype, no sure. Boy, yo, strictly rubber dubs in French music I play. Babylon, you drop your gun too quick. You never know, said the music automatic, it no stick. Boy, yo, cause it's a music automatic, so on watch it, make me shot it. No venue, me no pity, give me the city, make me laugh. When we roll out, show sold out, bring friends, black it, baseline, so me friend, to be me no care, me we rock, and me no care anywhere from a snare, me we slap it, me must chat, cheese a chop, so on watch it, make me chat it. A riot team, I had plus a chronic, so attack it, no factory, king, so be sing, fence, and chronic. Strictly rubber dubs, music.
No, I see you, Conrad. I was never seen you before. Where were you?
I don't know what happened, my friend.
You lost. You lost me, man. But happy to have you online now, sir. We sort out whatever technical difficulties we were having. Conrad O'Brien is online. Conrad, a whole heap of things we have to talk about. A whole heap of things not going to suit in our country. Some people don't care, but for those of us who believe that our country is among the best in the world in whatever we plan to do, want to see our country do well. The Road Traffic Act is a total mess, I believe it shows grave lack of foresight, lack of people passion for those people who thought about this and put this in place. What say you?
Indeed. Good morning, my friend and brother, Shaka. Let me greet the people who are viewing us and listening to us on the various platforms well. It's another Saturday morning right here in Jamaica, and we give thanks to be alive as we hail and praise the King.
Don't watch your color, my cup here.
Well, as well, you're a representative of the people. You're in representational politics. I must say that we all have our leanings, our political leaning. But when I take today's podium, Shaka, whether it's mainstream or on the space, the YouTube, wherever, I consider myself with a particular duty of care, a duty to represent for the Jamaican people, both at home and abroad. And I'll do it will be no less this morning. Of course, I'm dubbed as the fireman. Yes. And indeed, if you're dubbed as the fireman, then certainly you have to bring the fire.
Yes.
So, that said, Shaka, a lot of things, as you said in your preamble, a lot of things on the horizon. And for those of us who don't want to live anywhere, not because we can't, but because we cherish and we love this rock called Jamaica. And indeed, we believe that everybody who call this rock home should live in dignity and, of course, a modicum of decency. Therefore, the government of the day, whichever party form the government, at this material time, it's the Jamaica Labour Party. So, if they're in the kitchen and the heat is hot, certainly, as the acronym goes, if you can't take the heat, then you'll have to get out of the kitchen.
That said, yes.
That said, we saw where the recent traffic regulation was rolled out. And indeed, Chaka, I've been around, I'm 50 odd years old, close to 60. And I have never seen more bundling with a piece, an act like this. And I'm humbly submitting that, and I believe the opposition should carry this line as well. I'm humbly submitting that it's being withdrawn, it being tidied up, and then you take it back to the people. Because right now, Shaka, I don't understand what the minister means when he said,
go finish. No, finish.
I don't understand what the minister means when he said, listen, we're going to give you a 3-month window to have complaint. And then, so let's say you have complaint and they decide that they're going to modify those and put those in. Those charges that us motorists are facing now, what happened? It would be retroactive, meaning that they will give us back the money that we pay, or the points, the demerit point would be taken off our license. What is happening here? Therefore, again, I'm humbly submitting that the regulation being withdrawn as it is now, and the relevant tidying up is done, and then you come back to the people.
I want to agree with you. And I tell you, there's an additional reason that I want to throw in the mix, Conrad. Because nobody's talking about the legal aspect of road traffic. The fact that if you get a ticket and want to challenge that ticket, you believe that that ticket was unjustifiably issued to you. When you go to court, you must have a chance of getting justice. And what I mean by that, my brother, is that if you lives in Kingston now, and let's say you drive down to Portland, and you get a ticket, and you believe that the policeman was just being wicked and terrible. The law said this, so I'm not supposed to get this ticket. And you say you want to challenge this ticket. You will have to drive down to Portland to challenge that ticket.
Yes.
No, my argument is when you drive down to Portland on the first date, that case must either be tried or be disposed of. And I tell you why. The ticket is for $5,000. Right?
Yes.
You go and come back to Portland, gas, lunch, the DAP you lost already is more than $5,000.
Indeed.
So if that case is put off, even if you win that case on the second or the third trip down to Portland, it would have cost you more than even the ticket itself for you to clear your name. That would not be justice. So I am humbly suggesting that in the new Traffic Act, it must be put in there that when a policeman writes a ticket for a court date, he must be present in court on that day or the ticket is thrown out. And if he's present in court and the accused, is present in court, the case must be tried. Guilty or not guilty.
And there is which also put another fly in the ointment, Shaka, because I tell you this, a lot of the tickets that are unchallenged, it's not that they are justified, but it's for the very reason a lot of people just say, here, what happened? May I pay the $5,000 there? Because
challenge it. To challenge it.
Absolutely.
Where it costs you 10 or maybe all 50 grand.
Absolutely.
If we're talking about justice and the Prime Minister say this new ticket act is not about getting money, it's about making people safe. What about ensuring that when I get a ticket that I think is wrong, I have a chance to challenge it and not to be also charged even if I am found guilty?
Again, Shaka, and with all due respect to our Prime Minister, the most Honorable Andrew Michael Brogard Holness, because he's my Prime Minister, he's our Prime Minister, and I address him with the respect that he deserves or the office deserves. But to be honest, the Prime Minister talking a bag of nonsense, baloney, as it were. And I'll enumerate why I say so. In the parish of my birth, arguably the best parish in Jamaica, Manchester.
I'm not going to argue with you. I am just going to say Portland is the most beautiful place on planet Earth.
All right, no problem. We can live with each other, right? We agree to disagree. Good. So, and I must tell you, I must confess, what a picturesque place Portland is. Beautiful indeed. Beauty. All right. So, my friend, the Prime Minister spoke in Manchester this week, in Mandeville. And while he was on his feet, he said, listen, they are rolling back the child seat situation because it would, when they look at it, he recognized that it would cost a lot of ordinary people, i.e. taxi operators and so on, a lot of money in order to put that in. And as a result of that, he is rolling back that because it should never be costing people or more to attain justice or to make a living. I'm paraphrasing here. But in the new traffic regulation itself, every single sanitary thing has gone up by 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 5,000 fold. So the Prime Minister needs to talk to us about that. If it's not just a money-making thing, why would all these things, simple things, such as even wearing a seatbelt, not wearing a seatbelt doesn't create an accident. What not wearing a seatbelt does, it means that you, the person in the vehicle, could suffer damage. Granted, I understand and I hear those persons who are saying, but Conrad, it will put pressure on the health system if you suffer injury in an accident. And by all means, I'm urging people to wear their seatbelts. However, when you look at all the cars,
Conrad,
yes.
I want to come in. I live in an area, you see, rural Jamaica, where a lot of areas don't have adequate taxis. So in the evenings, a pro box is going to country with sometime 10, 12 people in it. Now, in our kind of democracy, where we choose a legislature to be in the parliament to speak on the local issues, I don't see where our local legislatures played a role in this bill, or our rural legislature played any role, because you could not sit there and hear, say, a taxi coming from Millbank in a my neck of the woods, Conrad, going to be having child seat in it. What do you think would have happened? How people get to work? How children would get to school?
Yeah, you're onto something there, Colin. And here is it now. As I said over and over, that I have one mantra, and that mantra is to speak truth to power. And now I'm going to bring the opposition PNP into this. The opposition PNP has 14 members in the House of Parliament. So we are already aware that whatever bill come to the fore, the government will use its large majority in the lower house and push through the bill.
And when you go house, because it's only a few.
No, let me come to it. In the upper house now, there are just certain things that need an entrenched position, that you need that 2/3. So they can also get through whatever they want in the upper house. Therefore, the opposition could be there as sitting ducks, as it were. My contention, Colin, with the opposition, are they making enough noise when the government passed these bills? Are they in the precincts of the House of Parliament? Call a press conference immediately to say to the Jamaican people, we have opposed these. We put these positions forward, but as a result of the large majority, or the majority that the government has, they basically railroad us and push it through. I heard Michael Phillips and I heard Senator Brown saying something akin to that, but I don't think they were as vociferous as they should have been during the passage of that bill.
I am going to defend the opposition on this one, because I'll tell you that the media and a lot of Jamaican people were not listening to the opposition. Let me show you an example. Let's look at the last budget debate. When Dr. Nigel Clark tabled the budget, I think you could get more vociferous than Julian Robinson and Mark Golding when they were saying, had another 40 billion to the budget to ease the pressure on the people. When the minister came out, the minister was listened to when he laughed at Mark Golding and said they were going to be reckless. By now, the government has had over 70 billion to the budget, and they are not being reckless. So I am saying that there are instances, I'm not saying that they were vociferous in this instant, but there are instances where the opposition come out against certain things, and the people don't listen. Look at thing there. Look at the 15, the 1.5. Look at the 1.5. When the GLP was saying that we're going to do the 1.5 revenue neutral, and the PNP was saying it couldn't happen. Nobody listened. But then come back and cost us 34 billion.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. I'm in total agreement with you on that. The truth is that Mark Golding and his opposition, his shadow finance minister Julian Robinson, they were literally on the mountaintop crowing for and preaching to the government to basically put that additional $40 billion in the budget.
So
Now we have seen.
you heard Mikhail came out the other day and said, listen, a lot of suggestions that we put forward to go in this bill were rejected by the large majority.
But let me just finish there, Colin. I'm saying that when you look at that particular thing with the budget, right? Because myself, I remember having Ralston Hyman on my program, and we ventilated, and the tape all over the place. Where I go even further, when the budget was cast, I said that listen, the jury is out as to whether or not the paper that the budget was written on it worth it, because the budget was basically fraughted with problem from the get-go. For example, the budget was cast on a 4 or 6% inflation when inflation was already running at about 10.5%.
The same
the
day the
oil,
minister was making presentation in Parliament.
Absolutely. The oil per barrel was cast at $65 when we were already seeing oil at over $100 per barrel. So those two things for me was from the get-go where we had problem. And to be fair to the opposition, they too may mention and make a big song and dance of that. And it brings me now, Colin, to the fourth estate, the media. Because the media, and it pains my heart because I'm a part of the media. I work in mainstream media. It pains my heart to say it. But sometimes, for whatever reason, we don't drill down on these things, and a number of us take a partisan position rather than open the thing and let it bear and dissect it and argue it for what it really means. And now, the opposition have been vindicated because we saw where an additional $70 billion now injected into the budget.
And they're not being reckless and careless.
You understand? Definitely. But I want, just before you come in, Colin, I just want to say that, frankly speaking, I don't think that the opposition made enough noise and highlighted a lot of the things that are presently plaguing this present road traffic act or regulation. So while I understand, and I heard Mikhail, and I'm not saying that the points weren't raised, because I've seen coming from Senator Brown.
Hold on, here's the next part, right? Before the bill became law, Mikhail Phillips was on every media house saying, listen, public education is needed about this before it comes to law. Public education. And what that would have done if there was a period of public education before you said going come in effect, would have brought all of this out. And then wider Jamaica voice would have been heard. But what I continue to say to people who said to me that the opposition has not been loud enough, the opposition can only talk where the media will carry, because the press conferences have been held and you get one little piece out of it. People who are still a part of the GLP choir still believe whatever the government says over what the opposition say. Anything the opposition say, they take it with a grain of salt. Anything the government say is gospel, and they are not scrutinizing these things. So I don't agree that the opposition has not been strident, the government is a bully. The government is a big bad bully, always wrong and strong. And I must say that they won a case. Finally, they won a case that have to do with anything with the Constitution. The Privy Council ruled that lawyers now must declare information that they have on their client's asset. But that's another discussion. We're not going to get into that this morning too much, Conrad. But
yes, but Colin. Go ahead.
No, you go.
All right. I'm saying, my brother, that This is it. The public education would have certainly create much more awareness in the public. And the public now would understand a lot of these things from the get-go. And certainly, I want to agree with you. Mikhail have been calling on the government for the public education. And we saw where the Minister of Information made a boo-boo of himself the other day when he was trying to defend that point. And anybody lives in Jamaica know that, listen, and not just in Jamaica, because people who live abroad follow these issues too. Know that the government. No.
Give me a minute. I don't want to miss this. I'm going to say that the Minister of Information is out of his depth. I don't think he should be the Minister of Information. The amount of garbage that he speaks. Continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So that said, and that bring me into a much wider realm, Colin, as it relates to not just the regulation and the transport and the new act there, but a lot of things that the government putting forward and say that they would be putting a major public education campaign on. For example, the new NIDS bill, they mentioned that, and all of these things that they put out there, as far as I understand, there is a budget for public education. We have not seen, hold on, Colin. We have not seen the rollout of those public education. Therefore, it begs the question, where are those money? Are they sitting down in an escrow account, or it's still somewhere there in the consult fund? We must ask these questions, and those are some of the questions that I would expect to be coming from the opposition as well.
But you mentioned NIDS, Conrad. While they rolled out the public education campaign on NIDS was in the court being deliberated by judges. You remember that?
Absolutely. That was the previous NIDS that was basically constituted illegally, that the court shut down. Since they have gone now with the opposition, they have the Joint Select Committee and they basically work this thing through. We have not heard that public education. And I must say, I must take tears out of school. I've spoken to my good friend with responsibility for the NIDS, Minister Floyd Green. You know, I asked him a couple of weeks ago about the rollout of this public education, and he said that they will be embarking on it soon. So I'm waiting with bated breath to see how they will roll it out. And I want to also say to the government of Jamaica, I'm sharing this here, the government of Jamaica, that when you're spending public funds in terms of rollout of a public campaign, all media houses, no matter how small they are, should get a piece of that pie, because indeed all media houses and all program have their listeners. So don't just put it on two media houses that you believe say listen, and then where you want to work.
Money and spend a large amount of money on one.
There you go. So I'm saying that spread the thing if you really want to have a genuine spread of public education.
Audrey Smith is saying that the opposition can use social media to help get the news out. I think the opposition have been using social media. You can check out Mark Golding at Instagram. He's everything. And I believe that Mark Golding speaks on everything. He's out there. He's talking. The next thing, Conrad.
Colin, before you leave there, Colin, because, you know, I want to be blunt. I don't know if that Audrey Smith that's weighing in, if she is Councillor Audrey Smith, right? But I want to be blunt here, Colin. And if it would be remiss of me to sit here and to give the opposition kudos, 100% kudos in terms of engaging the people and being out there in a vociferous way. Colin, I am on the ground, I'm on the air, and believe me, one of the things that the people are crying for is the lack of stridency from the opposition. The leader, of course, is out there. But what happened to the spokesperson in the main? Where is that chorus from the 14 in Parliament whenever something is going down? That they all coalesce around it and do it. I remember when Dr. Fenton Ferguson was the Minister of Health and the dead baby scandal. You are a member of Parliament, or a member of Parliament in your neck of the woods, put on mask, was out there with old toilet bowl, basically, and saying that he was not going to sit in the Parliament with Dr. Ferguson there. Marlene Malahou Fort was there, the entire 29 member of the Jamaica Labour Party. They were out there. And I know that when you send a press release or you do a press conference, it is at the mercy of the editor of the various media houses as to what they carry, right? What they carry. However, there are a lot of ways, Colin, that the opposition can use in order to get the message out there. If there is something that is as germane or is as important that you want the people to get out there, if you even have to spend a little money to get a sponsored 15 minutes or whatever and various outlet to get it out there. If you have to go out there under the school, hold on, Colin, because it's important. If you even have to go out there under the schoolroom meeting and so, the opposition is lacking. It is stridency in terms of engaging the Jamaican people, Colin. And I'm saying without fear or any fear of successful contradiction.
I hear you. I want to read this message. I didn't lose it, did I? Sandra Forrester is saying, you see everything wrong in Jamaica. Not one Saturday morning you come and highlight something good going on in Jamaica. And you say, Team Jamaica, you are only for Team PNP. Listen to your calling for Mrs. Vaz to talk to you. I would never talk to you if I was Mrs. Vaz. Sandra Forrester. Sandra, Jamaican not stupid. That is why they didn't listen to the PNP. Sandra, let me just say to you that
the jury is out on that.
With due respect, I have the right as a citizen to commentate. And what I am doing, I am not making up the stories that I talk about. I am commentating on what the managers of our country are doing. I am commentating on the fact that people who travel on market truck from the Rio Grande Valley to go to Kingston can no longer do so by law. Did you know, Conrad, that in the new Traffic Act, from where a little boy with grandparents are got market in a market truck back, can no longer travel with the load in the truck back?
Well, Colin, and I hope Miss Forrester listens and listen widely, because that's one of the contributions that MP, I forgot the name of the constituency, but MP out of St. Catherine and spokesperson and local government, Natalie Nita Garvey, made that point in a very, very vociferous way when Audley Shaw said, when Audley Shaw said that they're giving that 3 months window, she made the point, and she basically made the point very, very clear that she's from deep rural Jamaica, and she used the example of the cane and the market people. And that, Colin, is something that they must look at.
That is why I want to say to Sandra, that's why Miss Vaz need to talk to me. Because I would tell Miss Vaz that you must go to Parliament and not only talk about ladies wearing sleeveless, but also talk about the person from Moortown, the person from Cornwall Barracks, Bellevue, Millbank, who goes to market and travel on that market truck back.
And oh God, we love to see the ladies' beautiful arms. So we're not going to hit that, but certainly, certainly Mrs. Vaz and any other representative have to understand their role. And I can't see, Colin, how I can't see how you have a member of Parliament, irrespective of the divide that you're on, that fail to engage somebody who is involved in representational politics that have a contribution to make. And I believe that, hold on, Colin, I believe that Miss Forrest should be ashamed of herself this morning to basically making that suggestion.
And let me say this.
That this is what should not be.
I have never disrespected Miss Vaz, and I will never disrespect Miss Vaz. In fact,
Mrs.
Vaz, I've never disrespected her. In fact, in a speech I made in the council chambers, I think it was it Independence, that we must honor people like Mrs. Vaz. Mrs. Vaz is the first female member of parliament for East Portland. And we must big her up, just like how I want to put a statue of Nanny in the town square of Port Antonio. So it is just about not embracing people ideas, Conrad. Some people, if you talk your mind, some people are offended if you criticize their work, because I don't criticize Mrs. Vaz personally. I criticize the work of Mrs. Vaz. I hear people blaring about that she's doing a lot of work. I don't see that lot of work in Portland. I don't see the representation of the people of Boston, Drapers, Fairhill, Sansan, Clear Spring are suffering right now with a level of dust that is unbearable. And I don't hear her talking on the people's behalf. When the children that go to Happy Grove used to go home 12 o'clock at night, I never heard her talking on the behalf of my people. And I criticize the work that she's doing.
Absolutely. And you enumerate a number of things there, Colin. You made mention of, hailing Mrs. Vaz as being the first member of parliament, female member of parliament down there in Eastern Portland, and in the same breath as certainly I am suggesting, and I have suggested, that the 12th of December being named Portia Simpson Miller Day. I saw where the opposition basically move on that. I believe the government of Jamaica has a duty of care to basically put that in now and don't make it be a party, a PNP issue. But that day should be named Portia Simpson Miller Day. We don't have to have a national public holiday, but the day should be recognized.
Just day. Yes, acknowledge her. And I want to add one more thing, Conrad. When Mrs. Vaz calls a community meeting anywhere in my division or in the constituency that I'm aware of, I attend. I attend her meetings. She's my member of parliament. Just that she don't recognize me, but I recognize her. And I go to her meetings and I sit down quietly and listen to her meetings. So
maybe the next time, Colin, maybe the next time you shouldn't sit down quietly. You should participate in a very, very vociferous way. Make your strident manner rather. You should call.
I went to the first meeting that she called was, I think, her CDC meeting, and I went to the meeting and I made my contribution and was heckled by party supporters. So there was a meeting in Moortown, which is a part of my division, and I went to the meeting and I sat down and I listened. So I am ready to work with anybody who is ready to work for the benefit of the people of Portland. I am passionate about this parish, Conrad. I was born here, and as I said to you a while ago, I think it's the most beautiful place on earth. I think we have some of the nicest people, peaceful people, loving people. But also I think we have a set of people who are lazy, don't really intend to go out there and push it. A lot of people who say them no business with government and them now vote. A lot of those are also in my parish, and I'm saying to them that we have so much to offer as a parish that we need to get up and put our shoulders to the wheel and stop asking what our country can do for us, but instead say, here I am, what can I do for my country?
All right, Colin, I just want to, I think we have spent quite a bit of time on the regulation. If I may, just by way of highlighting some further issues that continue to plague our country, and we have to fix these if we really and truly want to build the fabric of this country and ensure that we have an educated population, both in terms of academia and skill sets. The teachers, the teachers, Jamaica Teachers Association, they had a special delegates conference last week, Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? Last week, Thursday, at the Woolmer's Boys School in Heroes Circle in Kingston. And of almost 600 delegates, only 30 delegates voted to accept the government wage offer for the teachers in terms of their new scenario and so on.
What was that? 560 had voted against it.
Absolutely. I had the president, Mrs. Lasagna Harrison, on Tuesday, and she was livid. She said that the teachers are indeed very, very, very militant. They are militant. She said at that meeting, and I think it was strategic, they had it at the auditorium. I think it was the Douglas Orain Auditorium at Wolmer's. And I think it was strategic in they having the meeting there, because she said that the level, the sound, the militancy, it could be heard at Heroes Circle where the minister sits.
Hallelujah.
And when you look at it, when you look at what they are being offered, certainly, Colin, the Minister of Finance, the line minister, Mrs. Favour Williams, and indeed the Prime Minister himself, who served as a former education minister, must address this. There's a lot of things
I like what the president said, you know, because the president said this is a watershed moment, you know, this is a crossover moment. So if we do this wrong, we are going to be doing wrong by our future teachers and our past teachers.
Absolutely.
So, right. But Conrad, we have another 7 minutes, and I want to talk to you about...
No, before you move, Colin, absolutely, she made those points, but I want to just say that it's not the teachers alone. We're hearing the firemen, the police officers thing are still outstanding. So therefore, the country is on edge as it relates to the industrial front right here in Jamaica at this time. I want to just put that on the table, leave it there by way of some things that the government need to address.
And we'll leave all of that with the taximen protesting and all of that. I want to go to Jamaica as a democratic country. The Prime Minister made mention of it to the end of this week here. But we are still seeing where the Prime Minister and this administration refuse to call the local government election. Hold on, yes. Colin, I know and like you and want you to win the fellowship division. Listening to you on Styles every Saturday morning, all I hear is bad. It's Sandra, you see, you're getting it wrong. If we're talking things that is not happening, then point that out. But if what we talk about is what is happening, because that's what we do on a Saturday morning. I said, talk to me about anything you want to talk about, but most people talk to me about politics. I call it governance. And if the government is not governing properly, we have to talk about it like how now we are saying the local government election has been due since 2020. The Prime Minister back in 2020 after the general election said he sees no reason to call an election because he have government and he have most of the councils. That's what the Prime Minister said back then. He has pushed back the election to February 2021. Then February 21, he pushed it back to February 2022. To February 2023. Now February 23 is on us. And we don't hear nothing from the government. Not even gone back to Parliament before Parliament was prorogued to say that we are going to do whatever. What are you seeing, Conrad?
Let me say something quickly before I address that. Just 30 seconds. Sandra, just to say something that Sandra might like in terms of positive. Sandra, want to give the government kudos for continuation of some of the fiscal prudence and principles that they carried through that started in 2012, 2013 under the Portia Simpson-led Peter Phillips administration, Peter as finance minister, Portia as prime minister. And those are some of the things that allowed us to basically weather some of the headwind that we saw came at Jamaica, i.e. COVID and other things. So those are things. So for a continuum on that front, fine. The local government election, Colin, that is overdue. Right now, at this moment, the councillors are facing a situation where they could be sitting in parliament or in council illegally because there has been no move afoot there to basically give an official extension. We don't know. The Prime Minister said it said that, listen, would have a local government election by the 27th of this month. The fact is that we can't have it. Even if it's announced that we'll have an election, the government is already out of work. There's already a breach because you know that there are certain lead time, Colin, that you have to call it, you have to procure certain things. So no way it could be held by the 27th. And it is indeed untidy, and it begs the question, what is the government afraid of to call the local government election? And this argument about not putting enough money or not having the money to call it is baloney. They can't run under the bushel again of the COVID-19 because we saw where they called the general election in the middle of COVID. And these are some issues that the Prime Minister have to deal with because the Prime Minister continues to speak out of two sides of his mouth. When it suits him to carry a particular line, and on the other hand, he speaks another way. And as a result of that, Colin, the Prime Minister's credibility is waning. There's a credibility crisis that is being developed in the government. And that is why I believe that the opposition PNP must get its candidates together by, I would say, by April the latest, and start to take the message to the government that based on what we're seeing in Jamaica, the government needs to go back to the people of Jamaica to basically ask for a fresh mandate. Let the people decide whether they want to continue with all these things that have been that are been happening, or they want a new administration.
Why the opposition not calling for the election? Why is the opposition not calling for an election now?
Well, the opposition asking that the government go to the poll for the local government election. I heard your leader, the opposition leader and party president Mark Golding, up to this week, asking the question and saying that the government should go to the poll because for the local government election, and other persons within the opposition asking the question. But I'm pushing the envelope a little further. I am saying that
I want to agree with you that the opposition is not strident enough. This is where I am going to come on board with you, that the opposition is not strident enough. I think that every time we speak, we should be saying to the government, call the election now. The people wants to show you that they are not.
I believe, Colin, that the reason why the opposition not calling for the general election now is because their house not fully in order in terms of candidates being out there on the ground and so on. You have some people who I gather, who are, in my opinion, basically and really and truly, should not be offering themselves for the PNP at this time because they're tainted.
What kind of people? So, how you make that decision now, Conrad?
Who
are some of these people that you think should not be offering themselves? and why?
Oh my God. All right, listen. I speak frankly. I'm the fireman. And everybody is innocent until that day.
Guilty.
Right? However, I am saying that if you have a vice president of your party who is flagged for a criminal investigation, granted he may very well be as clean as a whistle. True. I believe that if you are pushing the line of corruption or perception and so on, then certainly you should basically lead by example. And I believe as a result of that, the PNP should ask Ian Hales to step aside.
But suppose you look at it this way, Conrad, because
and also there are other people.
Hold on, don't call him more name. Let's stay on Ian Hales for a little bit. The case was before what? The DPP? Who had the case before? And then they sent it back to the police and said that the police must investigate if there was any wrongdoing.
No, the case was with the Integrity Commission.
Right. Yes.
It started before. It started under Dirk Harrison, right? And then of course, you know, that body morphed into the Integrity Commission. Right? The Integrity Commission had its
general.
Yes, and remember now that Mr. Hales himself has basically gone to court to ask them not to, I forgot exactly what, but he went to court on it. And the court has basically threw it back to them, and they now basically flagged it and said that there's a criminal investigation that they order into this matter. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that Mr. Hales is involved in anything at all. All I'm saying is that you have to basically ensure that your house is clean when you're going to push the ante. And I believe that whatever hindrances could be there for the PNP, they should basically deal with it.
So you're saying step aside, clear your name, and come back.
Yes, and good. And there are other persons that basically who may have been exonerated in the past, but certainly the court of public opinion out there and basically have them guilty and so on. And I believe.
But if the court say you're not guilty and you say you're not guilty, you say you're not guilty, an arbiter was chosen, which is the court of law, and the court of law find you're not guilty, then why you want to hold anything else?
But we have cases where the court never say you're not guilty, you know. The court basically throw out the case. And that's a different thing from saying not guilty. However, I'm saying
you have the evidence to convict me.
Good. But it doesn't mean that you're not guilty. Right? So that's a nuance point there. However, I'm saying that, and this is my opinion I'm expressing. I am simply saying that if I was retained to advise the opposition leader and the PNP, I know what my suggestion would be. I would say, listen, there are some people that you would do better with not having them on your ticket, because what it's going to do is put you in a very precarious position when you go out there and you start to blaze and corruption and calling for people to step aside, then people will simply point a finger on you. I would want to clear myself of all of those by simply talking to those persons. So listen, I am not saying that you got...
I want to bring in a caller. DP.
Go ahead.
Yo.
Wagwan.
Yeah.
I want to bring you in on the discussion.
What's the caller's name?
DP.
Okay.
You hear me guess, DP?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So, we are here talking about the government shying away from calling the election and the fact that we believe that they are not in a position to win, and that's why they're not calling the election. What say you? We lost him? We were hearing you what? DP? Conrad, are you hearing the caller?
I'm hearing him, but he is low.
Him gone, all of a sudden him just went low. All right. You come back a while ago, DP.
Yeah. Yeah, hear me better now?
You're breaking up. Let me get back to you. Because I'm breaking up. But Conrad, as we wrap, what are your predictions for this week coming? Politics and governance in Jamaica. What are your predictions for the coming week?
Oh, well, certainly there are a lot of things. I believe that the road traffic situation, that is still going to be with us for some time. I believe that the discussion as it relates to the recent ruling out of the Privy Council, that is going to take on some further discussion. There seems to be a divide among the lawyers at this time. Senior attorney at law Bruce Bert Samuels believe that certainly it's a sad moment for Jamaica. He believes that attorneys, families could be at risk and all of that because we operate with the informer for dead culture and so on. I also seen looming on the horizon where some internal issues in terms of internal fighting and disunity seems to be brewing in the Jamaica Labour Party. We get wind of what happened at Jamaica House last week and so on. I'm watching that one, and I believe that in the coming weeks here we will be starting to see more and more cracks within the Jamaica Labour Party. All right. I also
as it relates to those kind of issues, Conrad, of what is happening in the Labour Party. Do you really believe the argument that is going around? Who half of a thump down? Who tell who to shut up? You believe all of that is happening?
I don't know. I don't want to elevate, but what I know is that there's a lot of discomfort there, and people have basically certain persons have to be stepped into heated discussion to quell it and so on. So we're watching those, and I'm getting some information from credible source. Also, one of my prediction is that I believe that in the coming week we'll see the SSL saga. We'll see it start taking some shape. I'm expecting that we could start see some charges preferred on that as early as sometime next week.
Disappointed that there haven't been any arrests so far?
Very, very disappointed, and that is why I'm saying I'm expecting that as the charges prefer, then we will see arrests. And my prediction or my estimation or guesstimation is that we could see some movement on that as early as next week. I'm also looking at the industrial front, and I'm saying that if the government don't move with alacrity, then certainly we could see some unrest on that front as well.
Care to name the sector?
I'm not going to name a sector, no, but it is broad based. It is broad based, and we could actually pick anyone out of the hat. We could also see where, if it reached to a particular threshold, our tourism sector, which is one of the growing sector, could basically be affected as well. Because remember that the aviation guys are also a part of experiencing a part of the discomfort as it relates to their situation be settled, and all of those are outstanding.
As it relates to all of that, Conrad, we hear a lot of people who have gotten their package in the new reclassification of the compensation are now saying that they are not better off than they were before, with traveling and upkeep and all these things being now put into the general scheme of your salary so that they are taxed.
Absolutely, Colin. And that's also a part of the sticking point, not just for the rank and file police officer, but even persons in the officer corps, because my information is that there was a standard allowance in the JCF for persons that say DSP and so on, that would be $70,000, different from the traveling that they would get. Now they have stripped away that $70,000, no longer there, and the maximum that you'll be able to earn from your regular traveling, it's about $50,000 or so. So immediately you're about $40,000 out of pocket there as a traveling officer, and these are very troubling situations that impacting the persons within law enforcement. And
a friend of mine who works with the Service Commission said to me that they just got a motor vehicle, and if they knew that this is how the package was coming, they would not have taken out the motor vehicle, because what they had looked at in their remuneration package and saying, all right, here is where the vehicle money is going to come from, is now in trouble, gone.
Good. And Colin, again, I am prepared. I don't mind getting myself being questioned or being tagged by some people, because some of us have to stay out there and speak the truth. And that is why I have a very, very grave problem with O'Neill Grant. O'Neill Grant, the head of the civil servants of Jamaica in terms of their union, he seems to as if he was in an indecent haste in signing off on this package. And in my view, Colin, a lot of the I's weren't dotted and the T weren't crossed. Right. And it is, hold on, Colin, and it is indeed very, very embarrassing. And I believe that Mr. Grant owes his colleague at least to step away from this position that he offered him, that he applied for, because there, in my view, there was a clear conflict of interest. He
applied to become the head of the Services Commission. Let's make that clear to our viewers and listeners.
Not the Services Commission, the Financial Secretary.
The Financial Secretary,
right?
Parliamentary Secretary.
No, the Financial Secretary, right? Okay. And that is something is it financial secretary? Some position, but one of the highest position within the civil servant, right? While he was negotiating.
Head of the civil servant.
And while he was negotiating. And it doesn't argue well at all. And you have to, if we are really serious, you have to do things in a particular way. I believe that Mr. Grant should have recused himself from the negotiation, knowing that he had an application in, because certainly there seems to be a conflict, and a lot of people.
Even if he was in the discussion before he applied, once he applied, he should have stepped aside. I don't know if we have DP.
Yeah, put me in the back room, brother.
Well, we're hearing you, so talk.
Okay, good. Yeah, but unfortunately, I won't be able to come up right now. But
right, so we're hearing you.
That's good for you. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
So I heard you asking me about the local government, or was it local or general, or both?
The local that was supposed to be called already, that the government had pushed back twice.
Yeah, and you had said that you're of the opinion that is, because let me not quote you, so you can refresh my memory.
I was just saying that my views is that the government know that any election that is called now, they are going to lose. That's why they don't want to call it.
Yeah, but is that something new based on your own premise? Because I think that has been the practice over the years. Like a Jamaican government call election when they think it's beneficial to them. So you're asking a question and answering it with your own answer.
No. But you don't. As it relates to a general election, you have a 5-year period. The government don't normally go over it and extend it. In a local government election, you're supposed to be there for 3 or 4 years, Conrad. It's 4 years?
Three
years. And the 3 years have expired.
I hear you.
And you
I
keep
hear you. I hear you, but you said, Colin, your own words. It seems as if the government know that they can't win. That's why they're not calling it.
Yeah, but that's not a reason not to call an election.
No, okay.
And then we're living in a democratic society.
Also, the next thing, because I see this discussion on Twitter, wondering if I should jump in on it or not. Because it's not the opposition call election. So should the government call the election because the opposition want the election to be called?
No,
None.
DP, hold on. I think you're conflating the issue. The fact of the matter is that everybody know that based on our constitutional arrangement, it is the Prime Minister gift to call an election in the time frame, i.e. the general election 5 years, unless we have some extraordinary situation. There is an addendum that he can go, I think, a 3 months period or so over that time. Right? We're talking about the local government election that is due for a very long time now. It was put off for 1 year before. Then because of the COVID and all sorts of stuff and so on, there was another extension for additional 1 year. That 1 year now comes due the 27th, will be extended the 27th of this month. And we have heard nothing on it. And that is the questioning on the government. And it begs the question, why is the government treating local government like this? Remember that all the time that a local government election calls, it normally calls soon thereafter a general election. Therefore, the incumbent is expected to win or always win the local government election. This time, there's a little bit of difference there because the process has been dragged out. The government has become increasing unpopular and so on. And the discussion is as to whether or not the reason why the government not calling the election at this material time is because they are on the back foot.
I hear you. And I'm saying with your own words to kind of let me use your thing. So that means the longer they dry it out is the more deficit they're gonna find themselves in. So what is the concern of the opposition? Why them not just allow the jail people sink themselves or hang themselves?
But it's not the concern just of the opposition. It's about the concern of people who are not being represented. Areas don't have any councillors. The government.
Colin, come on, man. You say you speak truth. So every time when local government is called, the turnout, people barely. I know PMP and JLP, you don't vote in local government election. Remember that I used to. No. Listen what I'm saying. We're talking about fact. Remember that Conrad don't know me, but remember that I used to do news for TVJ. And I cover local government election and I cover general. The whole hype and the whole era with the both parties.
I probably know you very well. Go ahead.
What both parties put into general election, they don't put it in. So you know, Colin, I don't know if you make it clear to your listeners already that you are vying for the fellowship division.
Absolutely.
So if I was in your position, so this is where, and I think I said this with Simon already. Maybe you should recuse yourself for a certain argument because you have what the term them use, conflict of interest.
Not at all. No, hold on, DP. No. Again, you have to understand. Not at all. There is nothing at all that preclude any sitting representative or aspirant from being on talk radio or being in the media and basically weighed in. Let me
qualify my statement, Conrad, because let me qualify what I'm saying. The fact that it's not like me and Shaka are bridging and me I say, okay, he want it to happen, so he want to run. So he's going to see more reason for it to be called than the average Jamaican. Because the point I'm making is, I know both sides, PMP and JLP, who do not vote in local government elections.
That goes without saying. That's why you have a low turnout in local government elections.
So when Colin is saying that now the people want this and the people whatever. Do a survey right now and see how many people really concerned about whether the local government.
No, he did not say the people want this or the people want that. He said, hold on. He said that there are a lot of divisions that are out there without councillors as we speak.
Conrad, I am here. Hold on, I am here. So let me talk for myself. I did say there are a lot of people who want the election.
Okay, all right, cool.
And a lot of Jamaicans right now wanting and waiting for an election. I am telling you that, DP. It's on the ground. I want it. A lot of people want it. In fact, what Conrad is saying is that the government must call the general election now because based on the unpopularity of this government, they should go to the people for a referendum to understand if the people still want them to be the leaders of this country.
Colin, I know you
now.
have good memory. Last week there were more than one of your viewers. I don't remember the names now, but even one clearly stated that she's a supporter of the PNP, but she's of the opinion that if an election is called right now, PNP is going to lose.
And that's an opinion, but it doesn't matter if somebody believes that the PNP is going to lose the election. My view right now is that where the government is, they should go to the people. I want to agree with Conrad to some extent, but there's another line of argument that as it relates to the general election, the government was elected in 2020 to rule for 5 years. So if they want to hold on to that, so I am saying that as a referendum, the local government election, which is overdue, should be called.
Which brings me back to the point that I asked a question I'm going to ask again. So should the government, if you were the prime minister, would you just call election because they're radio talk show hosts or the opposition saying call it now because we don't think that you're running the country good or whatever?
If an election is due, DP, we're talking
no,
about...
man, you're just conflating it. You say a side with Conrad to say yes, call the general.
All right. Let me wait. Can I weigh in? Can I weigh in, DP?
I'm the host, gentlemen. Hold on. There is a fact, DP, not conflation of any argument. There is a fact that an election is overdue.
Which is the
that
local.
Can't conflate, no argument.
Which is the local. No, you just say you agree with Conrad.
And I'm saying
you agree with Conrad to call a general.
But hold on, DP, you're not listening. Listen what I say. I say I want to agree with Conrad. But also there's a line of argument that the government was just elected in 2020 to serve for 5 years.
You did say that.
So if they want to hold on to that, they ought to call the local government election, which is 2 years overdue. And that should not be left to the whims and the fancy of when the prime minister believes that he can win it or him can't win it. It shouldn't.
We agree. It shouldn't. And even the prime minister promised that he was going to have set election and all of these things from 2016? We know all of that. Of course I remember that. We know all of that. But I'm saying, Colin, this is where I find it, and I'm going to use a very harsh word, hypocritical, that there are a lot of things that never get done when PNP was in government, but Andrew must do it now. And
all right. DP.
Yes, sir.
Let me weigh in. First thing to begin with, you have one government at a time. This government is in the JLP for the law is in power now, going almost 7 years on the trot. Also, they are in office for going for 11 out of the last 15 years. So that argument, and we must move away from it generally. Not because we say it wasn't done under our previous administration. It does not. This means that we must keep on harping on that, because if we do that, then we're certainly not going to get anywhere. As it relates to my suggestion and saying that, listen, I believe that the government should consider going to the polls for a general election. Because whenever you're governing and persons are saying that, listen, we lost confidence in the government, we have seen a lot of things that had gone wrong over the last year or a few months, etc., etc. Your best bet as a government is to say, okay, we're going to the poll to basically seek a fresh mandate, and it is for the people. Granted, the Jamaica Labour Party may very well win back the next election, may very well win. But at that time now, the government would have a strong footing to stand and to say, you said that we should go to the poll for a fresh mandate. Here is it. The people basically express or exercise great confidence in it, so you're just bluffing. And that would basically shut down the argument from the opposition. Also, let me just remind you that we saw back in 1983 when the late Dr. Paul Robertson actually said to Mr. Seaga that, listen, we lost confidence in you, etc., etc. and Mr. Seaga basically called a snap election. At that time, they said there was a Grenada invasion, and Mr. Seaga believed that his tail was in his back. So he went to the poll, but the jury is out on that. A lot of people believe that Michael Manley would have won the 1983 election, but Michael stood on principle because there was a promise that, listen, no election would call on the old voters list. And Mr. Seaga did call the election on the old voters list. So there are precedents for this, where government opposition basically express a lack of confidence in the government and the government go to the poll. We all know that the PNP did not contest that election and the Jamaica Labour Party sat in the parliament with all 60 constituencies, 60 seats.
You have a question for Conrad. Go ahead.
Two. One, how much would it cost the government right now to run both elections?
If you
I don't have the exact amount, but what I understand is that if you run both elections together, there could be a saving of about $1 billion. But I don't have the exact.
Normally, so make we separate them. No. How much it normally costs?
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying to you, DP. I'm saying to you that I don't have the figure off the top of my hand here. Okay. But I'm saying that my understanding is that if you twin both of them,
yeah, man, all of us understand that. The reason why I ask that is I am saying, based on the financial trajectory that we're on, which let me bring the next question. Have you seen the release from the Financial Times?
Yes, man.
Okay, so you think that Jamaica will benefit more if an election is called right now, as in right now, financially? That would be financial prudent to call a general election right now?
There is no first thing to begin with. Democracy. You can't put a cost on democracy. And if that is the argument, that's really a kind of nonsensical reason, DP, because we could say that anytime the election could fully due, the 5-year could basically run out, and we're in a worse off financial position that we are in now. And you say, boy, we're not at a place to go there. Why are you going to do?
Look at 2012. Look at the financial state that we were in 2012 when that election was called.
And I want to put it out there to say to your DP that irrespective of the fact that the Times and also the IMF basically given us a lot of kudos, there are a lot of people out there that are starving. Capri recently did a survey that shows that a lot of people, maybe about almost 50% of our population or more, not eating a proper meal per day. You understand? We have those things going out there. So while we're seeing some.
Hold on, Conrad. DP don't believe nobody in Jamaica go bed without dinner.
Nope.
What you say? What you saying?
If they do it by choice.
It's not by choice, and that's why we continue to see policies being promulgated in a particular way, because a lot of our policymakers have the same notion of a DP. That because they can open their refrigerator and find whatever they want.
Gentlemen, hold a sec for me, gentlemen. Hold a sec for me.
Never you lost your way, or pass away. Pass away. Oh, yeah. You got to know what you're doing. Life is a long journey. I made this the other day, and when I take her, she was far from reality.
All right. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, you know, Colin, I want to say something, because I don't want to come off that nothing is happening in Jamaica, because that's not so, right? there are things that are happening in Jamaica that we have to look at. The mere fact that we're able to hold the whole economic front of Jamaica together, right? There are a lot of questions to be asked, but certainly it is something that we have to look at in a positive way. There are countries of our size, economy of our size, and also some larger ones that are under deep water now, and certain Jamaica keeping its head afloat. However, what we want is not just to be keeping our head afloat. We want to see the Jamaican economy built out in a particular way, that the pie is enlarged, so that we don't have to have 60% of our people, and this is for you, DP, 60% of our people who are living off $9,000 per week, which is about $60 per $60. And that, if
that is reality. I know a child that did not go to school 4 days this week because the parent could not find the money to send that child to school. 4 days.
True. And that is happening all over the country. That's happening all over Jamaica.
Not last week. This week we're just done.
Colin, is that child on path?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because the government has made provision for even transportation to provide it for those people. Conrad, this is my question to you. Tell me, I asked Colin this 3 months ago, and he told me that people going to the bed in Jamaica. And I see a comment from from DJ Captain Baker saying going to bed is not just a Jamaica thing. Conrad, this is my question. Do you know at least one person that went to bed last night without dinner? You personally?
If I know one person that go to bed, I know many persons that, not that I haven't spoken to the person, but I have known many persons who had gone to bed without dinner. Many persons who have gone to bed without dinner. The question to that is, and also DP. Let me just say this, because a lot of times we come down on certain things. The PATH program, that was something that was put in place by the PJ Patterson administration, right? To basically, so it's not a JLP thing. It's a PNP issue for the people of Jamaica. However, we can't build a society on a PATH program. What we should be doing is not boasting that we have more people going on PATH, but where we need to go is to have more and more people weaning themselves off the PATH program, because we are creating a vibrant economy.
Let me just say this. Captain Baker.
No, let DP respond.
Go ahead, DP.
So what I said, because it's so like, I don't know if I the technology why we not hear each other or whatever. I did not say the JLP put in PATH program. I said transportation.
No, I'm just responding. No, I need to say you say.
But we know that.
No. DP. Remember that.
Hold on, Conrad. Let's not quarrel about that. We understand the PATH program.
No, man. No, Colin, this is important.
Just hold on, man. Hold on. There are a lot of people who were on PATH that was taken off PATH. There are also issues with the PATH program. Not everybody get transportation money for PATH, because PATH don't give you that transportation money that it can suffice. You get a little money, I think, every 2 months from PATH. PATH is supposed to provide lunches and breakfast at some schools. We also know that coming to the end of the last school year, a lot of school money was depleted before the school year was done. So when we look at PATH is also not fully adequate to deal with all of that. So yes, you can be at PATH and still can't reach school.
Correction, Colin. You don't get money for transportation.
Where you get? The bus come for you?
The government pays the bus drivers.
A very few places that still happen, DP. Very few places that still happen.
Well, I can't just go off for what I know. So if you know something,
I know it. All right. There was a time when it used to happen for Port Antonio High School, when the government used to pay part of the money to take the children up to the top campus. That no longer happens.
Okay.
I want. May I?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Conrad.
All right. I mentioned the past situation there for educational purpose. Remember that when we speak on these platforms, we are not speaking to ourselves. There is something that DP may know. There is something that you, Shaka, may know. I may know the answer to. However, we add information for the general listening and viewing audience. So that is important. DP, you give those the letters to define you. May I ask you a question? Colin, we know Colin is a sitting representative, right? Well, offer sitting, not sitting. He is an aspirant.
Aspirant.
Yep.
Aspirant. Do you have any such interest in politics?
Had no longer.
No longer. Where were you for the PNP or the JLP?
Come on, DP is over. All right, go ahead.
At one time, I ever vote on a Shaka for me vote for in a local government election.
DP is overseas, Conrad.
Okay, DP is overseas. Good.
All right. Gentlemen, so I want to thank you for your time. We have to wrap up. Just final thoughts. Final thoughts. Conrad, you go first, then DP.
Well, it's very interesting, and I'm happy that DP joined us, because what happened, there are times when you need that kind of balance, that kind of cut and thrust. And while the people will be the judge at the end of the day. We can basically talk and throw out ideas, but at the end of the day, the people will be the judge. The truth, DP, is that you're not living here in Jamaica, but let me tell you this. My phone rang off the hook on a daily basis for a lot of those beautiful young ladies who are wearing those nice minis and close-fitting dress and high heels, going to work for a bus fare in the morning, all right? They ask me for that because, and a lot of them goes out depending that where they work, somebody will give them a tip to buy something to eat in the day and to pay a bus fare. That's where we are, my friend. We have 60% of the Jamaican people, working people, earning $9,000 per week. And
that's not
we
factual,
must find a way. And we must find a way. No, it is fact.
But you said that's not a fact.
No.
It is indeed a fact. As a matter of fact,
Conrad, hold on. What's the fact, DP?
Colin, you see, that's why some discussion me I go stay away from, Remember, sir, you encourage me. No, me I say, remember, sir, you didn't even encourage me to get one lady to come wash and clean. And I know that you don't pay people minimum wage. Majority of people don't pay minimum wage. So when you say the minimum wage is, that don't mean people are getting that as the
DP, hold on, DP, the research is out. You have Statistical Institute of Jamaica that gives you these figures that 68% of Jamaicans are living on minimum wage.
Plus you have another 11% that is living on much lower than that.
It's not an opinion in the DP.
Like I said, right? I know most of who are paying people.
But
even
DP,
in Port Antonio, where I'm from, not because DP. The minimum wage is not. But Shaka, hold on, man. I want to stop conflict the argument. Stats Institute now go to every single business and ask them how much them paying them staff, They're going to populate their figures by what is said. The minimum wage is 9,000. So they can't go and say people making 50,000, although it's 9,000, based on the whatever. But not because the minimum wage said 9, that doesn't mean people getting $9,000. Most private sector, most business people that I know, they are paying more than minimum wage.
We're talking about the minimum wage persons who are working and the minimum wage, and we have to go by the official data. The truth is that if I'm doing a survey, I come to your house and you have 5 persons in your household, but in the night you're bringing in 4 more, so it's really 9 people there. I can't report says it's 9 because 5 men off.
All right, Conrad, let me share something with you because I want ZJ get off with this. What is your thinking of the minimum wage? What do you think the federal minimum wage is?
The
What
federal minimum wage is $15 per hour.
Nope, that is a lie.
We
And I
not-
hear a lot of people on radio saying this. Just Google it right now. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. But I hear every Jamaican saying I think there are few states right now paying $15. Nearly about 6. But I don't know where Jamaicans get this thing from to say the minimum. But it got to be my point. Most states are paying close to $15
per hour. Let's talk up. Let's get it. We're talking about per hour.
Yes, sir.
So the point you're making now, DP, as it relates to the 9,000, the $60 per week where our people are getting. What the point you're making?
But I'm saying they're not getting 9,000. There are a lot of businesses not paying the bare minimum.
Brethren, you have wholesaler Jamaican where the dime does where people are working and get lower than the $9,000.
What's the BPO paying?
We're not talking about BPOs, Papa.
Oh, so we are gonna just box up the argument. No problem.
No, it's not a matter of boxing up. Hold on. We talk about 100%, and I make mention of 60%. So the BPO would fall over in the other 40%.
So who are the people?
I never say 100% I get it.
Apart from the wholesales, who is paying the bare minimum?
Household helpers. A lot of household helpers are getting the minimum. A lot of gardeners are getting the minimum.
But you know, gentlemen, it sounds like we don't really get sensitive about the topic. But you know my thing, and even civil servants normally get upset when I talk on it, because this is my thing. You know that police and soldiers and nurses don't get money. You make an option. Shaka can tell you. I was in media 6 years ago when I came to America. I was working for a car dealership. I went back to school and now I'm an HVAC tech. I don't sit around and blame and cuss and say I am not making because whatever. So I am not going to sit here and
that's a different conversation.
Hold on, Carol. Let him different wrap up anyway.
I am happy that there are people working and getting at least minimum wage. If they want more than that, there are things that they can do to get more than that. I never get minimum wage when I was living in Jamaica, and Shaka can tell you. I was a music teacher. I had my own show on both the radio station locally and the TV. Plus, I was doing news for TVJ. Me not sit down and depend upon government for do nothing for me.
No.
So we need to change this mindset.
No, Cara,
we need to change this mindset that because people getting minimum wage, then we need to change. Yeah, we need to change it, but there are personal responsibility that people need to take on. And I wanted to say this finally. Though some of those girls are exploiting you because that has been the thing. Them a make them money, but them a call 5, 6, 7 man. Me get the call them too. But them a beg money because I live a foreign. But them a exploit you. They are exploiting me.
No girl can me.
But anyway, finally no, me mean it. Gentlemen, if you don't know people going to them bed hungry, you don't need to do better than that. I'm sure say you not go on the bed hungry. So if I have one person you can share your dinner with or give a little bit of money.
I talked to you off the air and you sent me some money so we can distribute it. Because I have been distributing all that I have. I need some assistance. You're earning what, about $50 per hour?
Not tell how much I earn.
DP.
Yo.
Thanks very much. We have to wrap up.
Yeah, man. Later.
DP. Before DP run. DP. Yes, join me. Join me Monday morning at News Talk 93 FM, man. 9 o'clock.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.
Right. Yeah, man.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. Tomorrow.
All right, cool.
Pre-Valentine's party. I mean, you see, there are some people who don't understand that people are living in some conditions that you'd be amazed if you see it.
You know, Shaka, just a second, Shaka. You know, maybe DP would be surprised, and we can say whatever we want to say about it. We can say people never make good use of them, this, that, etc. But the fact is that people still live in Jamaica, where the house where them living at the floor, a dirt floor, you know. That is still happening. And I'm not prepared to say it is about labor or it's about PNP. The fact of the matter is that is what we have, some of the conditions that we have right here in Jamaica. And that's why, Colin, before I go, I am saying to Mark Golden that we're talking about reparation that we need for Jamaica. I am saying that he needs to champion a local reparation here and make it a part of his campaign mantra that he will be looking at the land, the crown land, and find a way for much more of those land to get in. I also want you to take on again what Peter Phillips left there about the contract workers. These are two big ticket items that was on Peter Phillips' agenda. I don't know if the PNP still have it. I don't hear Mark talking about them enough, and I'm urging him to speak on them.
One of the things that I want to see happen is local reparation for children of slaves, giving land to children of slaves of Jamaica. And the Jamaican government must start with that as reparation for the people.
I think that's what I said, Colin. It was in different words, but that's what I'm saying.
Who are landless, to organize. I'm saying organize it in that way, get it done quick, that a lot of people can get somewhere to live and stop calling Jamaican squatters in Jamaica. It is not right. England won the match between West Indies and England by 7 wickets. So West Indies lost their first match in the female T20 World Cup competition. I want to say thanks to Conrad O'Brien, thanks to DP, thanks to all of you for watching. Remember, we do it again next week, and we are going to be starting a Friday night program where we are going to be interviewing a lot of people who want to be representatives and who are getting into representational politics, so that we can hear some people, because too many people are going into politics without any vision, without any ideas, just because maybe they see that some money can make our people just want power to be in politics. So until we join you again, Portland Spice TV, subscribe, share, tell somebody about it, click the notification bell. Thanks everybody who living far from reality.
Never you lost your way, or pass your way. Pass your way. Oh, yeah. You got to know what you're doing. Life is a long time. Yeah. I'm maybe 30 on the day and ready to car. I'm reality. And that before she was far from away. So many people will live and not receive and not give them. Far from reality. One of my friends cross the beach, right which part me live in there. Far from away. Most of the people them living in space, and the spiritual one them living by grace. I will never forbid on my face. Corrections put in the right place. Yeah, you wear your shoes without the socks to get fungus. So you have to judge it like the Asian Congress. With them standards and them brooms, you can never bound us. The more you sleep, we give them something around us. Maybe 30 on the day, and when we check her, she was far from reality. I never knew that before I met her. She was far away. So many people will live and not receive and not give them. Far from reality. One of my friends calls the bitch right which part.